You got the drop on 50 Cent one time?
We thought we did until we got in there. Mike called us, told he was up there. I got up there. We got up there, we came in and strapped to they thigh, bullies on them, semis on them, magazine cartridges. I said, yeah, he ain't slipping.
Today's not the day.
Nah. 50 moved different. He moved different.
And did 50
I'm glad
see
that
you?
didn't happen though. He see me. But he didn't know that's what we was on. We never approached it. I'm glad it never happened. Things worked out.
50 Cent taught us that, not trying to throw shots at him. Sure. But you could not do nothing to him because he had that real...
A lot of people see 50 Cent as one of the sharpest minds in hip-hop, and Wack100 learned that lesson the hard way. Tony Yayo once said it best: the G-Unit crew never had to check in with anyone, anywhere. They moved like a military squad across the country, tight, fearless, and always ready for anything. 50 himself even backed that up, saying, "I come from a place where you have to be ready. Don't get ready. You gotta be ready." And man, that mindset got tested when Wack100 tried to play tough with him and got hit with a dose of reality he never saw coming. This whole 50 Cent versus Wack100 situation goes back years. During one of Wack's wild clubhouse appearances, he started running his mouth again, dropping a crazy story about 50. He claimed it all went down back when 50 was in Los Angeles, still at odds with his former G-Unit member, The Game. Since Wack was managing Game at the time, he naturally inserted himself into the drama, but it didn't go how he planned, not even close. According to Wack, he decided to confront 50 at his hotel in LA, ready to flex some power. But instead of 50 folding, he pulled off one of the slickest moves Wack had ever seen. Wack said, "I'll never forget the move that dude 50 pulled. He made a move on us." Apparently, someone tipped Wack off that 50 was staying at the SLS hotel, chilling at the small bar area. So Wack rolled up deep, about 10 people strong, thinking he was about to press 50, but the moment they walked in, Wack said the energy shifted fast. He could feel something was off, and when he looked around, he realized why. 50 was surrounded by a squad of about 8 serious-looking men, not your average security guards either. These were Navy SEAL-level professionals. They moved with precision, every step calculated, eyes locked on the room like they were expecting a mission. Wack instantly knew he wasn't in control anymore. It looked like 50 had been expecting him, maybe even baited him to come through just to prove a point. Some fans think this was Wack's failed attempt to extort 50, especially since 50 never checked in while in LA. Wack's always preaching about the importance of checking in, but this time, he might have learned that 50 Cent doesn't play by anyone's rules but his own. Wack100's always talking about checking in like it's some kind of safety rule. He even swears he does it himself when he travels. "Be down there Friday," he said once, acting like it's just standard procedure. But in real street culture, checking in isn't just a friendly hello. It's a power move. When a rapper or celebrity lands in a city known for its gang presence, they're expected to reach out to certain street figures for what's basically a hood pass. And that pass, it usually comes with a price. See, some people like to play it off as a sign of respect, as like, "Hey, I'm in your hood, all love." But others call it what it really is, straight up extortion. Because if it's all about respect, then why are there consequences when someone doesn't check in? In cities like LA, some artists go along with it, linking up with local gangs for what's basically street insurance. But not everyone bends the knee. In 50 Cent, he's definitely not one of those who play that game. He's never been the type to call anyone for permission. And it wasn't just Wack100 trying to push him.
This is why I always respected Eminem, 50, and that was with us. So Suge came, he had some Mexican niggas. Now, we from New York. You ain't never seen a nigga with a tattoo on his forehead. Slice the cigar, and it's the shit about Suge. He light the cigar, and he trying to see what you gonna do. So Eminem, 50, everybody else.
Even the infamous Suge Knight once tried to test 50 Cent's gangster. Yeah, Suge. The same man who ran Death Row like it was a real-life empire. The history between those two goes way back, all the way to Dr. Dre. When Dre walked away from Death Row to start his own thing, that betrayal hit Suge deep. And when Dre signed Eminem, then later brought in 50 under Aftermath, oh, Suge took that personally. From that point on, 50 and M inherited Dre's battle. And Suge wasn't known for letting beef slide. He had to make his presence felt. One of the wildest moments came during the filming of 50 Cent's Indoor Club video. Everything was running smooth, the set was hyped, energy was high, until someone suddenly shouted, "Suge Knight is here!" Instant panic, the whole vibe flipped. Suge had pulled up deep, rolling with about 30 people, many of them rumored to be linked to a Mexican gang. They didn't come to watch, they came to send a message. It was classic Suge. Unannounced, intimidating, and always dramatic. He loved making an entrance that screamed, "I'm still in control." And that wasn't even the last time things got crazy. Fast forward to the 2004 Vibe Awards. What was supposed to be a glamorous night honoring Dr. Dre's legendary career turned into straight-up chaos. Dre was about to receive his Lifetime Achievement Award with Snoop Dogg and Quincy Jones right there on stage. And then, out of nowhere, the whole event exploded into madness. Out of nowhere, this dude named Jimmy James Johnson walked straight up to Dr. Dre like he wanted an autograph, but instead, he swung on him right there in front of everyone. One clean sucker punch, and the whole place exploded into pure chaos. People started screaming, chairs went flying, and the crowd turned into a full-on riot. You could feel the panic in the air as nearly 1,000 people rushed toward the exits trying to escape the madness. Right in the middle of all that insanity was young Buck, and reports later claimed he was strapped with a knife, seen swinging it during the brawl. Witnesses said Buck stabbed Johnson, supposedly to protect Dre after that cheap shot.
I wouldn't say we were scared, but it was the Vibe Awards when we seen Suge Knight and Irv Gotti, and they walked past the trailer.
50 Cent didn't waste time taking precautions. As soon as he caught wind of what might be going down, he reportedly told his people to go out and buy a bunch of knives.
50 just look at James Cruz, so he just taps James Cruz and say, "Yo, go buy 20 knives." Yeah, just go to the hardware store. It was about 20 to 15 of us, something like that. Suge Knight got like some crazy looking, Compton looking dudes with him, you know what I'm saying? So it just, you felt the energy.
And Buck wasn't the only one who went after him. Johnson got jumped by multiple people while the chaos unfolded. The entire thing turned into a serious legal storm with arrests, statements, and everyone trying to figure out who started what. Buck ended up catching charges, and the authorities came down on him hard. But the craziest part? Nobody could say for sure whether Suge Knight had set the whole thing up, though the signs were way too suspicious to ignore.
Monster like this, the smallest, biggest security I ever know. Like his presence is big as fuck.
Tony Yayo later revealed that right after the fight broke out, he saw Suge Knight and Irv Gotti casually strolling past G-Unit's trailer like nothing happened. That sight alone had everyone's alarm bells ringing. It looked like something had been brewing long before the punch was ever thrown. And trust 50 Cent wasn't about to be caught slipping. The moment he caught wind that things might pop off, he told his crew to hit the stores and grab knives, just in case. You could feel the tension in the air that night, and clearly 50's instincts were spot on. The man's always been built for survival, ready for battle at any moment.
What up, 50?
Yo, what up, 50? What up, man? How are you? So, 50, real quick.
Eventually, Tony Yayo got slapped with 3 years of probation and had to serve 80 hours of community service for his part in the madness. But one thing was clear.
Hold on. Y'all better stop this.
"50 Cent's team was always on point. He didn't just rely on professional security, he surrounded himself with street soldiers who knew how to handle pressure. And at the center of it all was Monster, 50's right-hand bodyguard and enforcer.
Hey, this is 50 though.
If you saw 50 anywhere, Monster was never far, always watching, always alert. He wasn't loud or flashy. He was that silent threat in the background that made sure no one ever got too close. A true definition of a goon, calm, focused, and fatal if he had to be. Monster's kept things private over the years, so there's not much out there about him.
Mysterious video that vanished from InfoMind's channel was about none other than 50 Cent.
But if you've ever seen 50's old videos or behind-the-scenes clips, you've probably spotted him, always lurking in the cut, moving like a shadow, protecting 50 from every possible angle. There's even a clip floating around of 50 Cent walking through an airport while Monster's right beside him, trying to hide his face from the paparazzi. You can see how serious he is about staying low-key.
This is what InfoMinds did. He would show pictures of 50 Cent, different pictures of 50 Cent in regular settings, right? Until InfoMinds highlighted this guy that was in like every picture.
No smiles, no posing, just business. And whenever 50 hit a club for a performance, Monster was always in position, eyes scanning the room, watching every move, making sure nobody got too close or too bold. One of the wildest moments caught on camera was during that tense encounter between 50 Cent and Trav on stage. If you look closely in the footage, you'll spot Monster standing in the background, eyes locked on Trav the entire time.
Remember that shit that happened to Slowbucks on that stage? Infomind's documentary had footage from that Slowbuck situation. He was highlighting niggas and shit.
Muscles tight, ready to move if things went left. That man wasn't just there for show. He was on alert, waiting for even the slightest sign of danger. For years, Monster was like 50's shadow, always a few steps ahead, reading the energy before it even changed. But then rumors started spreading that 50 Cent allegedly had a video removed from the YouTube channel Infominds. And that's where things got messy. Infominds, known for their raw street documentaries, reportedly dropped a full breakdown about 50's real security setup. And Monster was right at the center of it. The video, he was the one truly making sure nothing ever happened to the boss. But that wasn't all. The same video supposedly exposed a major situation linking 50 Cent to a crime. It reportedly covered what really went down between 50 and rapper Slowbucks during Hot 97's Summer Jam in 2014. Yeah, that same night Slowbucks got punched and robbed for his chain right on stage. Infominds supposedly laid out every detail. Who was there, how it happened, and how 50's team moved afterward. When the video dropped, it caused a firestorm online. And word is, 50 Cent wasn't having it. He allegedly reached out directly to Infominds and got the video pulled down. The move made people even more suspicious, like, what was in that video that 50 didn't want out there? But it doesn't end there. Monster's loyalty to 50 ran so deep that it even got him in trouble with the law more than once. Over the years, he caught multiple assault charges from incidents where he got physical protecting 50. He wasn't just a bodyguard, he was a shield. One of the most infamous cases happened in 2010 over in Copenhagen, Denmark. According to reports from the New York Daily News, Monster was hit with assault charges after allegedly attacking 2 photographers outside the fancy St. Petri Hotel. Apparently, a group of paparazzi had been waiting out front for 50 Cent to come out, flashing cameras like crazy, when Monster decided enough was enough. That night proved one thing. Monster wasn't about the fame, the lights, or the headlines. His only mission was simple: protect 50 Cent at all costs. One of the photographers, Nicolo Yura, later told Radar Online that things spiraled out of control in seconds. One of 50 Cent's bodyguards came out and told us to leave, he said. The next thing I knew, he grabbed my throat and tried to strangle me. He cut off my airway. I couldn't breathe. Then he snatched my camera and deleted all my photos. That moment left Yura completely shaken. He said he had to rush straight to the hospital just to make sure he was okay. And he swore he wasn't letting it slide this time. I will be going straight to the police station and complete whatever paperwork is necessary, he told reporters.
He up there. Cream, dude, you know the old school shit. You know what 50 did? Yeah, my nigga.
Do it back, yeah.
Yeah, my nigga. Oh, you know what the block did?
Yeah, that's what
Now that kind of intensity raises one big question. Why does 50 Cent roll with so much security? Some critics call it overkill, saying he hides behind cops and bodyguards like he's scared. But others say it's not weakness, it's wisdom. Because let's be real, 50 knows what can happen when you're not prepared, especially after that infamous shooting that nearly ended his life. And that takes us back to where it all began, to the streets of Queens, New York, and one name that changed 50's story forever: Kenneth Supreme McGriff. Back in the 1980s, Supreme built a powerful crew called the Supreme Team, right in the Jamaica section of Queens. Under his command, that gang grew massive, hundreds of members deep, controlling the crack trade in the Baisley Park houses where Supreme grew up. They were pulling in insane money, around $200,000 a day, but the fast life caught up quick. In 1987, Supreme got hit with a 12-year prison sentence. He got out on parole in 1994, but by the end of that same year, he was right back behind bars. It wasn't until 1997 that he finally cleared his convictions and tried to flip the script, starting fresh. That's when he got involved with Ja Rule and the whole Murder Inc. crew, and became one of their main protectors. He wasn't just a name anymore, he was the muscle behind one of the hottest labels in the game. During that time, Supreme and 50 Cent actually had a decent relationship. They came from the same side of Queens, so there was some mutual respect at first. But 50's career back then wasn't where it is now. He wasn't a superstar yet. He was hungry, frustrated, and felt like the industry was sleeping on him. So instead of playing nice, he decided to shake things up the only way he knew how, by calling everyone out. That's when he dropped that now infamous track, dissing nearly the whole rap game, a move that would change his life forever. 50 Cent dropped How to Rob just to get people talking, and it worked like crazy. The track was part genius, part chaos, with 50 name-dropping nearly every major rapper in the game just to grab attention and make a little money off his album. But that move lit the fuse for one of hip-hop's most explosive beefs, 50 Cent versus Ja Rule. According to 50, the drama all started when his friend Troy allegedly robbed Ja Rule. Later on, when 50 and Ja crossed paths at a club, 50 tried to clear the air. But Ja wasn't hearing it. He was convinced 50 had something to do with the robbery. Ja eventually confirmed that the robbery happened, but swore he never saw 50 with the guy who did it. "I didn't even know you know this dude," Ja said later on, claiming it was all a misunderstanding. But that's when Supreme McGriff stepped in. He told 50 to chill out and stop messing with Ja. And since Supreme was someone 50 once looked up to, he backed off, at least for a minute. But the truth is, 50 wasn't done throwing shots. He kept dissing Ja Rule in his songs, poking the bear every chance he got. Then, tragedy hit. In 1999, both 50 and Supreme's world were rocked when their mutual friend Black Just was ended. The story goes that rapper E-Moneybags had paid Supreme a deposit for a car. When E-Money wanted his cash back, Supreme brushed it off and told him to forget about it. That's when things turned fatal. One day, E-Moneybags allegedly opened fire on Supreme's car, and Black just got hit twice, one of those shots tearing through his thigh. Instead of rushing straight to the hospital, which was just around the corner, Supreme reportedly drove back to the neighborhood first, asking someone else to take Just to the hospital later. That delay cost Black Just his life, and it turned E-Moneybags into a marked man. Meanwhile, the tension between 50 and Ja kept boiling. Supreme, still backing Ja, tried to convince 50 to chill out and stop clowning him publicly. But 50 wasn't trying to hear any of that. He was already feeling disrespected that Supreme kept taking Ja's side. And to make it worse, Supreme didn't even believe 50 had superstar potential. In his eyes, Ja Rule was the cash cow, the one worth protecting. But 50 wasn't about to be played second to anybody. Things exploded when both Ja and 50 performed at the same club, and everything went left. A fight broke out, and when the dust settled, 50 walked out with Ja Rule's chain. He didn't just keep it either. He flaunted it like a trophy in his Life's on the Line music video. Naturally, Ja Rule ran straight back to Supreme to get his chain back. And that's when the feud between 50 Cent and Supreme McGriff officially went from tension to battle. By this point, Supreme was completely fed up with 50 Cent. From his perspective, 50 was messing with the image of one of his biggest stars, Ja Rule. And this was the second time he'd had to step in to clean up the drama. But 50? He wasn't backing down one bit. He was on a mission to tear down Murder Inc. and expose everything that went on behind the scenes. And with every move, his relationship with Supreme kept getting worse. Tony Yayo even told a story about one of their final encounters when things between 50 and Supreme were really falling apart. According to Yayo, 50 made it crystal clear that he wasn't scared of Supreme. Not even a little. He looked him right in the eye and let him know he wasn't about to be bullied by anybody, no matter how feared they were in the streets. "Oh, you know what the block did?" Yayo recalled, quoting 50's attitude at the time. That moment alone showed just how bold 50 was becoming. He wasn't moving like a rookie anymore. And just to turn the pressure up even higher, 50 started surrounding himself with people Supreme couldn't stand. He began hanging out with E-Moneybags, Big Nose Troy, and Green-Eyed Born, all of whom already had major beef with Supreme. It was a dangerous move that sent a loud message. 50 wasn't aligning with power. He was challenging it. Then came the song that changed everything, Ghetto Quran. When that track leaked and eventually made its way into Supreme's hands, all hell broke loose. In the lyrics, 50 name-dropped Supreme directly and even referenced his crew's street past. While 50 said it was meant as a tribute to the streets that raised him, Supreme didn't see it that way at all. He took it as pure disrespect, like 50 was airing out names that weren't supposed to be spoken publicly. What made it worse is that other rappers had mentioned Supreme and his legacy before, and he never seemed to mind. In fact, he used to like it when artists gave the Supreme team a shout-out, but when 50 said his name, something snapped. Supreme saw it as betrayal, like 50 was crossing a line that couldn't be uncrossed. Then, as if things weren't already tense enough, someone tried to end Supreme at a gas station. Shots rang out and Supreme barely made it out alive. From that moment on, he was convinced that 50 Cent was behind the hit. And that's when things got dark. Supreme allegedly decided to take out everyone he saw as a threat, starting with 50 himself. He reportedly hired Daryl Homo Baum, who used to be Mike Tyson's personal bodyguard, to get the job done. And the payday was big. On May 24th, 2000, 50 Cent left his grandmother's house with his son inside and his grandmother watching from the front yard. As he climbed into the backseat of a car, another vehicle pulled up beside him, and a man walked straight up to the window. 9 shots were fired from a 9mm pistol, 9 brutal hits that changed hip-hop history forever. 50 was struck in the hand, arm, hip, both legs, chest, and even in the left cheek. The bullet tore through his face, leaving his jaw shattered, just a few inches higher, and 50 wouldn't have made it. It was a miracle he survived, but that moment turned him from a hustler into a legend. Miraculously, after 3 long weeks in the hospital and multiple surgeries, 50 Cent survived. His recovery became one of the most iconic comeback stories in rap history. Pure legend status. Doctors didn't think he'd make it, but somehow 50 pulled through, scarred but stronger than ever. His jaw had to be wired shut, but even that didn't stop him. He learned to rap again with the same fire that almost got him slayed. 3 years later, he dropped Many Men, a track that gave the world a glimpse into what really happened that day. And in it, he revealed that Homo was the shooter. But by the time that song came out, Homo was already gone, taken out in what many believed was retaliation, though 50 himself had nothing to do with it. Call it fate, karma, or just the streets catching up. Either way, it was one of those chilling twists that made 50's story even more unforgettable. While 50 managed to cheat passing, not everyone connected to that circle made it out alive. In July 2001, E Moneybags was found unalived inside his Lincoln Navigator, shot multiple times. There are 2 main theories about why he was slayed. Some say it was payback for the passing of Black Just, while others claim it happened because he allegedly robbed Irv Gotti and Ja Rule. Either way, the streets were on fire and the bodies kept piling up. Then, just 3 months later, Big Nose Troy was also ended, further tightening the noose around Supreme's name. The violence had spiraled way past music. It was full-blown street warfare now. Eventually, the police gathered enough evidence to go after Supreme McGriff, arresting him in 2002 on pending homicide charges. During court investigations, Supreme actually brought up Ghetto Quran again, claiming the song was proof that 50 knew too much, maybe even enough to be involved. But when detectives tried to press 50 for details about what he meant in the lyrics, he didn't fold or backtrack. He simply said, "Listen to the record." That's it. Bold, confident, untouchable. Then came 2003, and the feds turned their eyes on Murder Inc. itself. Irv Gotti, the label's founder, was suddenly under investigation, and it put everything at risk. The government accused Gotti of laundering money for Supreme McGriff, and by 2005, he was facing serious charges in court. In the end, Gotti beat the case. The jury found him not guilty of all charges. But Supreme wasn't as lucky. He was convicted of narcotics trafficking, racketeering, and homicide in New York federal court, sealing the downfall of one of Queens' most feared street legends. Meanwhile, 50 Cent walked away alive, rich and unstoppable, proof that not even 9 bullets could silence him. With hitman testimony, text messages, and even video evidence stacked against him, prosecutors proved that Supreme McGriff had paid $50,000 to have his enemies taken out. It was an airtight case, and once the feds swooped in, all of McGriff's and Irv Gotti's assets were seized. Left with nothing, Supreme couldn't even afford his own lawyer and had to settle for a court-appointed one. Then came the final blow. On April 9th, 2007, Supreme McGriff was officially sentenced to life in prison. The same streets that made him a legend ended up taking everything from him. As for 50 Cent, that shooting didn't just change his life, it completely transformed his image. Before the bullets, people knew him as another rising rapper from Queens. But after surviving 9 shots and bouncing back stronger than ever, he became the definition of resilience and power. The man literally turned pain into profit and trauma into triumph. That moment didn't just reshape his career, it shifted the entire culture. The hip-hop world had never seen a comeback story like his before. So when people see 50 rolling with heavy security now, they get it. After everything he survived, playing it safe isn't fear, it's strategy. What do you think? Was 50 right to keep his circle tight and his security tighter? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, share this wild story, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. See you in the next one.